Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Call Busley, and today we're going to be working once again on the Ford Freestyle. Today we're going to be replacing the passenger side lower control arm today. We are replacing this. The last time we did work on the front end was the front struts. When we did that, when we put the lower control arms back in, I noticed that the passenger side was pretty shot up. So we're going to go ahead and replace that today. A while ago we replaced the driver's side. I did not film that one, so we're going to film the passenger side today. They're both the same way, just opposite sides of the vehicle. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here's our new control arm, guys, and I just wanted to show you the places that are worn out, which is the reason why we're replacing this. On this side of the lower control arm, this will be the side closest to the front of the vehicle. You'll see like a rubber bushing in here. When we put the lower control arm back after we did the struts, this rubber was completely just tore apart. I even had a chunk come out, which means it has some slack to go back and forth, which it really shouldn't. It should be pretty sturdy. Same thing on this side. You will see this big old aluminum bar here. This rubber gasket in here, it's all kind of like suspension-wise, a little bit of bearings in there too. But this one is completely shot up as well. That's why we're going to be replacing the whole control arm. Comes with new bushings, new ball joint, new everything. So it's just a take it out, put it in deal. So we'll go ahead and get started with taking the passenger side wheel off. Going to be 19mm nuts. You're going to zip off all 5 of those lug nuts. And then we'll go ahead and get our work light and get started. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So we are on the passenger side wheel well. And as you can see, our old muddy control arm is still in here. There are a couple nuts and bolts we have to take off. Pretty simple, to be honest. We don't have to take anything else off besides the control arm itself, which is very nice. So if you look towards the passenger side, you will see right above our aluminum plate there, you'll see there's 2 nuts right there. Those are 18mm nuts. You can either loosen them from the top or loosen them from the bottom. There is a bolt that goes through the frame, the subframe. So the 18mm on the top, underneath, you will see there are 2 15mm nuts that you can use on the bottom. So I just use an impact wrench, have an 18mm wrench hold the nuts, use a 15mm to loosen it on the bottom there. Once you loosen those 2 nuts will come out and you'll be able to slide those bolts right through. That'll loosen that side of the control arm. Now when we come over towards the front of the vehicle, you will see right here our basically bushing that bolts to the subframe. There is a welded nut on the top. See if I can get a good view. Right there, that nut is welded to the subframe, so that won't come out, so we're gonna have to go underneath the vehicle. And when we do that, you'll see there's this little hole in the subframe here. So you have your body mount, follow that, you'll see this hole in the subframe. Then you'll see in that hole there's an 18mm nut. So you're going to go ahead and loosen that one. Once that nut is removed, the lower control arm will fall from the subframe of the car. Once that is removed, we have one more nut, which is the ball joint nut on the actual hub itself. Which if we go back here underneath our CV axle, you will see our ball joint nut. That is going to be a 21mm. You're going to go ahead and loosen that. You won't be able to get the nut out till you smack the ball joint lower once you loosen it up. So we'll remove that 21mm. So you'll move the ball joint out, which is 21mm. You're going to loosen the subframe nut bolt, which is right here on the front of the vehicle. That is an 18mm. Then you have the 2 nuts right there, 18mm, 15mm on the bottom. We'll loosen all those up. Once you loosen all those up, the ball joint will fall out of the hub. This will slide out of the subframe, and then if we just pull this towards us a little bit, the lower control arm will fall. So we'll go ahead and get these nuts loosened, and then we'll go ahead and take it out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we got all the nuts taken out and the bolts. We got our 2 15mm bolts out. We got our 21mm bolt out of the ball joint, and then we have our 18mm from the subframe. You see, when we took that nut out, that part of the control arm dropped, as well as the one on the ball joint. You can still see it there. So we'll smack the ball joint out, and then once we do that, we will be free to go ahead and pull this part out. And then our control arm will fall, yeah, the ball joint quite tore up a little bit. You'll see our subframe is sliding quite a bit, and obviously this is completely trash. As you can see, the cracks and everything like that. Our new one does not even budge. It's shot. So we'll go ahead and do this repeat process, but just backwards. So we'll go ahead and stick the new one. We'll stick this end in first, and then we will go ahead and get our ball joint tucked up underneath here, so that way the ball joint's straight, and then the subframe will get last. So we'll go ahead and put that up, and we'll get our bolts started, and then I'll let you know the torque settings for all of them. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so now that we got our control arms in there, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten down our bolts. We got them just finger tight right now. Our 15mm bolts that are on the back side of this, we're going to tighten those down to 73 foot-pounds. Once you get those torqued down, you're going to go ahead and go over to the front side where our 18mm bolt is. You're going to torque this one down to 111 foot-pounds. Once you got that torqued down, the last one we're going to do is our ball joint right down here. That is going to be torqued down to 85 foot-pounds. Once you get all three of those torqued, we are done. So pretty simple, easy process on the control arm. This should solve our issue with on our dirt road, on the rocks. I would feel quite a bit of thunking, and I think it's because of our worn out control arm, which if I go up to the top of the car here, this is what I think our issue was up here. There's supposed to be a rubber gasket right there like you saw on the new one. That's not the case, and this is able to slide back and forth, which I'm sure is not supposed to happen. Our ball joints really kind of wore out. The new one we put in, you could barely move, and then this was just completely trashed. That wiggles so much, but that should solve our issue. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's video on the Ford Freestyle lower control arm replacement on the passenger side. Driver side, if you had to do this, it'd be the exact same process. Obviously the control arms just look a little different, but exact same process. Same torque settings, everything. So if you're looking to do this on the driver's side, it's the same exact video, same exact process, just different side. So guys, I hope this helped you guys out. If you needed any information on your Ford Freestyle, if you did like this video, please give this video a like down in the description. And as always, please make sure you subscribe to watch more Ford Freestyle videos, or on our channel we have our Silverado, we have our side-by-sides, we have our quads, we have our Raptors, we have RC cars, we have a lot of different things. So please subscribe to Quad Boss Lee if you have not already. Please go check out our merch in the link below. You can purchase any merch off our website. And guys, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a like, please subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.